Poker is awesome. It's great.
Poker is absurd.
You know, where else in any other sport that you love, you know, can you play in the biggest, you know, event in the world?
Joe Blow can turn $10 into $1 million.
Poker's a fun game that requires a certain amount of skill, a certain amount of bluff, and a whole lot of luck.
You don't have to be physically strong. You don't have to be extremely intelligent. It's an everyday game for an everyday man.
It's a roller coaster. It is.
Poker is great when you win and horrible when you lose.
Poker is good, bad, and very ugly.
Poker is something you should do for fun and not for living.
It's a living. It's you know, they say it's a tough way to make an easy living.
You know, and that's what I love it.
It's like sex. Everybody thinks they're the best, but only a few know what they're doing.
Welcome to another episode of the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship. Finalists from around the world facing off for the prize at the Atlantis Resort, Paradise Island, Bahamas. Tournament host TJ Kluche eliminated by aces, slow played by young Swedish pro Ray Sanchez.
All the internet has done is breed bad winners, not bad losers. You don't make a guy look bad and stuff like that by jumping up and down when you beat him.
That leaves Captain Tom Franklin to carry the torch for the veteran Las Vegas professionals. Can the crop of cocky young internet players knock off the remaining veteran pros? Hello, I'm Dave Scharf, your poker commentator. We'll be back with the action in minutes. You're watching the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship.
Welcome to the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship here at the Atlantis Resort in the Bahamas. When you see the full access logo right here, you are getting unprecedented behind-the-scenes footage from the glitz at the head table to intimate moments with the players.
So I frequently get asked, how does it work? How do they shrink the field? You just play until you're the last one left at the table? No, what they do in a tournament is they keep all of the tables balanced at the same number of players. So all of the tables stay balanced. All the tables in the room will always have within one player the same number at each and every table. When you get short enough, then you break up a whole table, 8 players, and you distribute them into the empty seats. Down and down and down you shrink until you're left with only one table. Welcome back to the action at the Party Poker Canadian Poker Championship. Here at the feature table, we are in level 2. Blinds are 50 and 100. The button is in seat 2 with Lothar Landauer. Lothar is a professional player from Europe. He's got cash finishes at the World Series of Poker back into the mid-1990s. Not real well known in North America, real well known on the European circuit. Captain Tom Franklin with a Jack-9 suited is going to put a raise in, make it 325 to go. That's about the standard size raise. Little over 3 times the size of the big blind. I like the raise. Jack-9 suited is a good implied odds no limit hand. He's raised with it up front. It's going to be difficult for his opponents to put him on that hand. Lothar on the button with a Jack-10 off suit, contemplating the call, and he will call in position. Ace-Jack suited in the small blind, also going to take off the flop. And Kenneth Strandli from Norway, King-4 offsuit. He's even going to call. That's a pretty sketchy call. You can get in a lot of trouble with that hand in no limit. 1,450 chips in the pot. Big pot. 4-way action on a flop of 10, 9, 5, rainbow. Check and check to Captain Tom. He's going to make the continuation bet. He bets 600 into the pot of 1,450. That's a little bit below what you would expect, but certainly within range of a continuation bet. He's representing that he has a pair. Lothar with top pair, and weak kicker is going to call. fold and fold, and we're now heads up to the turn. Lothar with the best hand and position, but he can't like his kicker very much. The pot is just over 2,600, and Captain Tom will make an 1,100 bet. If I'm Captain Tom, I believe I have the best hand. I mean, Lothar hasn't shown you any strength. I'm going to likely put him on a draw. He flat called pre-flop. He flat called on the flop. If I'm Captain Tom, I think my 9 is probably the best hand. Lothar's going to give this one some thought. And no surprise, it's the weak kicker. He's only got a jack for a kicker that's causing him some problem. He'll stare down Captain Tom.
German is in a long period of time.
Captain Tom with his Rastafarian hair hat on. he'll have a little sleep while Lothar gives it a long think. Lothar is going to give him a long look. These are the two pros at the table. Lothar, who's played professionally for a decade. Captain Tom, similarly. Captain Tom has made $1.5 million the last few years in tournament action. Captain Tom bets 1,300 chips on the river. I like the size of the bet. If I'm Tom, I believe I have the best hand still. If I don't, I'm going to minimize my loss. That's a good bet. It's a good bet that's going to either win 1,300, fold your opponent if he has nothing, or if you are beat, you're going to manage to minimize your loss. Lothar is showing no strength throughout the hand. Captain Tom, I think, legitimately believes his hand is the best. If Lothar had a pair above 10s, you would have expected to see him raise either pre-flop or on the flop. Lothar, of course, is the best with top set, but his weak kicker has got him given this a certain amount of second thought, and he's just going to flat call. Captain Tom's going to take a 3,300 chip hit in the hand. Nicely played by Lothar. I'm not sure he could have made any more chips. He certainly could have lost more if he'd had a weaker hand, but he didn't. He had the best hand, and he's going to stack a nice pot. Professional player versus professional player in that hand, and Germany getting the better of it over the United States of America, Captain Tom Franklin, in seat number 7. A regular competitor in the $10,000 World Series of Poker Championship, his biggest tournament win, $100,000. Lothar is the real deal. More on Munich, Lothar Landauer.
I'm Lothar Landauer. I'm coming from Germany and I'm 44 years old. My online poker name is Time Lord. I just saw it and I did like it. This is the reason I took it. There's no special reason. I play poker since 25 years. My largest tournament win is about $100,000. I won this in '94, winning the European 7-Card Stud Championship. I finished second at the same event in '96 and '97.
Captain Tom in early position, Ace-10 offsuit. Makes a raise with his Ace-10 offsuit early position. Here in the number 1 seat, Konstantin Kulyakov has picked up an Ace-Queen suited. He's got Tom dominated, and he has position. The button calls with a 6-5 offsuit to Kenneth Strandli in the small blind with an Ace-10 offsuit. Again, a real weak hand to be playing out of position. He'll be out of position for the whole hand, but he's going to call. Joe Payne, the big blind, folds, and we have a 1,500 chip pot. They're all coming after the pro. They're coming after Captain Tom. Captain Tom Franklin keeps creating these big multi-way pots. 1,500 chips in the pot, 4-way action. Flop of Jack 10-7, giving both Kenneth and Captain Tom second pair.